Oh my goodness, things have changed in this Facebook space. If you've been in this group with me going on 4 years now, you've noticed that I have changed the name and I've been changing our focus. So I want to talk to you a little bit about that because this group has honed in even more on what it is that I am being loyal to, which is your heart, your desire. And I want to talk a little bit about why that's not selfish, because a lot of people believe that you, especially women, living in alignment with their desires is somehow a selfish thing to do. So I want to really address that, what I believe is a lie in this space, as today is a new day. We are emerging in this space. I've changed the name to It Is All About You, because it gets to be all about you, actually. And it's a sacred practice of allowing and inviting your life to be a full expression of you rather than a cobbled together version of who it is that you think you should be. So for those of you who are new to the space, my name's Jenny Glick. I'm a relationship mentor. I'm actually changing how it is that I talk about myself too. So that just came out of my mouth before I considered like what's in more alignment for me, is that I'm a leader for women who are in a moment where they recognize that they want to come back into deep relationship with themselves, because the truth is that the truth lives in you. It's not my truth. So I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to heal you because you're not broken. I'm not here to tell you how to live your life, if you should stay married or quit your job or move to another country. I am here to facilitate and curate for the women who decide to invest in working with me. I curate experiences, highly curated, exceptional experiences for women where they can come into deeper alignment with their own knowing. Because what I know in my 48, going on 49 years of being on this planet and having worn many, many hats in my professional life and my personal life, is that the more that I can live in coherence and alignment with my desire, that's what is knocking on my heart. The more that I can grow into intimate relationship with those parts of me, the more I do that, the easier my life becomes. Go figure. When I try to do what it is that I think I should do, what other people believe that I should do, what I, think I should do so that I don't make other people mad, whatever, those stories are. And if you were part of the mini salon that I just offered over the last week or so, you've heard me talk about this. When I do that, and when most of you do that, you don't feel in alignment with yourself. And so then you go to bed angry, you feel resentful. You're not showing up in your creative endeavors, in your professional endeavors, in your relationship. You're not asking for what you want. There are so many aspects of your life that are out of alignment. And when you are out of alignment, what happens is your energy, your frequency, right, drops. You get into a place, and this sounds woo-woo, but it's really not, because you know what it feels like to feel like you're walking through life and you're walking through someone else's life, right? That your life is like meh, that you're criticizing or looking at other people or situations that they need to change in order for you to feel safe, good, enough, whole, like you're pleasured, like you're satisfied, that things around you need to change. And what I believe when you get to a certain age or stage of your development is that you recognize, oh, I am the co-creator of my life. I was having this conversation earlier today when I was walking with a friend whose brother just passed yesterday. And we were talking about grief and what the energy frequency of grief is, right? And for me, grief it's like a symphony that's a cacophony, right? So you have all the different instruments playing, right? So in her situation, her brother had been suffering for a very, very, very long time. So there was a lot of relief that he was released from that suffering. There's also deep sadness because he's very close to her and their relationship. And then everything in between, right? So there are all the different instruments available of your relational experience. All of that in grief is happening, right? Do you all understand? If you're watching this on replay, hashtag replay for me, I'm happy to come back and I'll check out your comments. So you have this very rich experience of grief, and then we get to choose. This is the co-creator part, right? And how it is that we get to make it all about us, because the truth is you are making it about you anyway. I'll get more into that later. But you have all of these emotions happening in you. And what one can do is choose one instrument, say regret, and hold on to that and create a story around it. Hold on to that and go back and find memories to serve that regret. That's just one part, right, of the very full and rich picture of grief. And then I can carry that one experience forward for decades of my life if I care to. That is me being a creator, a co-creator in my existence. Does that make sense? If I choose to do that. Or I can recognize, like my friend is doing, that she experienced so much love with her brother and he opened her to so much love and expansion. So yes, she feels anger and grief and loss and all of the, the normal things that we feel, or typical things, I should say, with grief. And she is also allowing herself, hey, Tammy, nice to see you again. She's also allowing herself to orient around love and how much she learned from him. And those were the stories that she shared with me as we walked today. So that's her orientation, even though she has the option of orienting around regret. Why didn't I do more? I wasn't there when he passed, all the things, for those of you who've walked with death, know about, right? And so I bring that up because I want it in this space. We're going to be talking a lot about how it is that you live in alignment with your desires, and really considering, right? We were talking about this some in the mini salon yesterday, the desire under your desire, the desire under your desire. So if I maybe want to feel love and connection in my life, like who doesn't want that? But actually the desire under my desire is to torment myself, because that's what I'm used to, because family of origin, because my first marriage, because whatever the story is. I don't actually deserve it. I don't see myself as a sacred being, so I beat myself up instead. I abandon myself to unhealthy or toxic patterns, whatever it might be. So yes, I have a desire here, but then there's like this unconscious desire underneath. Does that make sense? And so becoming present to the depths of you and what your desires are, and then knowing that we're part of this 3D world. We're in this planet of like material things where I can want to experience love and connection. And maybe I have a 20-year relationship with someone where I have not been nourishing that. So that is going to require me to do some real 3D engagement. You notice I try not to use the word work because it doesn't need to be work. How it is that I engage in my relationship will require me to show up in more resonance with what I really desire. Right? The same with work. I know I've been talking to several of the women from the mini salon who are in job situations that they're not interested in, and they want to go out on their own and be entrepreneurs. Amazing. Right? So I can have a desire for that. And then it's this deep alignment process of how do I come into alignment with all my parts. And what you will find, and this is why being an entrepreneur is one of the most amazing ways to up level yourself, is because I am faced with personally all kinds of my own misalignment, because I desire to have a schedule that's very free. I desire not to work for anybody. I've worked for myself for 15 years. I don't plan on working for anybody anytime, anywhere near in the future. So it requires me to be vulnerable, to get on camera when it maybe doesn't feel like I want to to write, to hire coaches, to do all kinds of things. That's the material part of living in this world, right? To be self-disciplined, to create a social media schedule where I'm posting regularly, those things are maybe not what I desire to do, but my bigger desire of freedom, my bigger desire to be of service, my bigger desire to expand my reach so that others might benefit from the expertise that I have honed over these last many years. That bigger desire is what guides my everyday. Does this make sense for those of you who are here? So when I say in this group, it is all about you, the truth is you are already living as if it's all about you. And probably what you're orienting around, like that example that I gave of grief, there's a whole lot happening there, but you can orient around regret, right? In your life, there's a whole lot happening there. You can orient around pleasure and joy and what lights you up and what turns you on in a full body way, right? And you'll hear me use that phrase, what turns you on. And I don't mean that in a genitalia way, though that's a thing too. I mean it like what lights you up, what turns you on. Like for me, right? This space turns me on. Talking to women, I just got off a group call with some women where we were engaging in a spiritual conversation. That turns me on. That lights me up, right? Those are the spaces and places that I want to be in, right? Guiding women, being in conversation with women, facilitating spaces for women where you can find that light in you that shines, that lights me up. So that's what I want to do more and more of. And so we can orient around that, and I did this other thing for a very long time in my life, orienting around the martyr, or here are all the reasons why I can't have it, or here's why my life doesn't allow me to, right? And that it works as well, meaning that is an option, and you will do that until you're ready to do something else, right? And when you're ready to do something else, for me, I like to do the something else in community with other women, because I know that when I'm in a circle with other women, all kinds of magic starts to happen. Hey, Charlene, nice to see you in here. So I think that's all I'm going to say about that. I want to keep this video reasonably short. I try not to go over 15 minutes usually. So you will see some changes in here. I'm not focusing just on relationship, though. To be honest with you, relationships are everything. Your relationship with yourself, your relationship with your time, your relationship with your money, with your work, with your family, with the roles that you play in your life. Everything comes down to your relationship, right? And so what we're doing in this space is not a huge departure. It's more of a refinement. As I'm becoming more refined, the space is becoming more refined. So if you're here and if you find value from this space, if you have friends, invite them in here. Okay. I would love to have them in here. I will be doing a video like this, like I usually do, about once a week. And I do have a salon called Sacred Self-Trust that's opening now. And it is a 3-week salon for women who are really ready to come into sacred relationship with themselves. Because when you have self-trust, and I do this because it's all about alignment, when you're aligned with your own heart, when you know what your inner truth is. We just did an exercise last week around your inner wise woman and getting into relationship with your inner wise woman. When you get into relationship with that voice, when you can actually hear it, wow, you have a compass that you can follow. And when I can do that, I stop looking outside of myself for someone else to tell me what to do, what to think, how to be. Each of us, in my belief structure, is here to be a full expression of who you are. And you are different from me. You are not here to be me. I'm not here to be you, nor should we be. You are here to be a full expression of you, and so am I. And part of what I find as I show up more and more as a full expression of me, fear comes in. Fear comes in and it's like, oh my gosh, but we didn't do our hair. We can't get on video. Or my skin doesn't look great because of whatever, or I feel vulnerable, or nobody's going to listen to me, or whatever it is, right? And it can be the same for you if you need to talk to your partner about something. It's like, wait a minute, here comes fear, right? I want to have this conversation, but fear comes in and says, you can't say that. She will get mad. He'll get pissed. He'll leave. She won't understand. So fear is what starts pushing back at you and says, you really going to be who you are? You really going to say that? Right? And in these salons that I am offering this year, it's all about allowing yourself to be in that space and feeling the support of the community, the guidance that I will have for you, the mirroring, the reflection, the exercises and the learning sessions that we'll have, so that you can listen more and more to that part. So if you're interested in that, DM me. I'll ask you a few questions to see if we're a fit. Otherwise, hang out in here, drop your questions, your comments. I look forward to seeing you in here. Thanks for hanging out throughout this ride with me, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.